Okay, so the next thing on my list, I think we're up to number 11, is I want that horse to ground drive without being fussy. Okay, and that's kind of my grandmother's word, fussy, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm trying to remember how many ground driving sessions he's had. I'm going to say about 5 or 6. This is probably number 6, might be 7. And when I ground drove him yesterday, I felt like he was ground driving without being fussy. Okay, now he is a little anxious, and that's just normal kid stuff there where he walked off. He'll get over some of that over time. Okay. Number 12 on the list is handle ropes around his legs. Okay, and you've seen on previous videos, we've roped this horse's legs. We've put lead ropes around his legs like this and just lifted up his legs. Okay, that's a pretty important thing, that a horse can handle ropes around their legs, because that's definitely something that'll get you bucked off. You get on a horse and something touches his leg and he's not expecting it, and a lot of horses will really lose it over something like that. So that's one of the things that ground driving does. It gets them used to ropes all around them. So I'm going to flip this rope right here behind his butt, and it's touching his hind legs. Okay, so I'm going to ask him to walk off, and he's going to circle to the right after he kisses you in the camera. All right. And he's calm. The fact that he's not trotting off, which they all do in the beginning because they're nervous, the fact that he can just walk around here shows me that he's okay. If he weren't okay, his head would be up and he'd be trotting around and acting all goobery, but he's pretty good. Let me ask him to trot. Okay, he didn't trot when the cue was given, so I popped him on the butt with that long line. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to bring him over here and do an outside turn into the fence like this. Trot him off. Okay, he's handling all that. Okay, so there's a lot of things horses learn from ground driving, and I'm a big believer in it, because they learn to handle stress, they learn to follow their nose, go the direction you're asking them to go, the speed you're asking them to go. I think the next thing on the list is he needs to know the stop word. So let's see. Woo. Okay, that horse needs to understand that word means stop. And he doesn't have to be perfect. That was actually pretty good. I don't expect him to, do a sliding stop every time he hears the word. But I do expect him to understand when he hears that word, it means stop, and he did pretty well. Next thing on my list is he needs to be able to handle me slapping his shoulder. He's walking off here. He needs to be able to handle me slapping his shoulder with this long line. And he just stepped over my lines, which is pretty typical. What happens? Come out here. I need to get closer to you guys anyway so you can see this. Okay, and I'll tell you why this is really important is because a few weeks down the road, I'm going to be riding him and I'm going to be kicking him in the shoulder, or at least somewhere in the cinch area, trying to get him to move his shoulder while I'm riding him. And I might use a spur depending on where we are in the process. So he needs to figure out that it's not that big a deal, doesn't really hurt, it just makes noise. And he stepped over my line again, but I think we'll be all right. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm asking him to go to his left, which is my right. I'm gonna start pulling on that right rein and pop him right there. Okay, and he came around pretty nicely. So you see, he didn't lose his cookies. How would your horse do if you did that? He didn't get too overly bothered by it. He doesn't think it was going to kill him. Ooh, all right, so I'm going to do it on the other side. This will be his other side. So I'm going to pull here, get some pressure on that rein. All right, I want him to spin that shoulder around and do it just like that. Okay, this horse is an athlete. He's very well bred. He can make these moves without any trouble at all. Good. I'm going to turn him into the fence. Okay, so to me, this is really big stuff. If the horse can handle emotionally all of this, this is not nearly as stressful as me being on his, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. This is a lot more stressful than me riding him. A lot more. So if he can handle this, me getting on him, really not that big a deal. He loped off pretty nice. Can he trot around here in a nice circle and give to that pressure? And he kind of wants to stop, which is fine with me, that he wants to stop. I'm not going to let him, but I kind of like it that he's thinking about stopping. If you're doing this with your horse and the only thing he's thinking about is running away, then I don't recommend you ride that horse till this gets a lot better. Ooh, that's pretty nice, wasn't it? Pretty nice. All right, so I took the ground driving lines off and I gave him about a 5-minute break. It's important to give these colts mental breaks. All right, so he's walking off there. That's mostly just curiosity at the camera and everything like that. Next thing I want to show you are things to do with the saddle. And everything I'm going to show you are things that I have done quite a few times before. Come over here, Chico, where everybody can see you. Look and say hi to your adoring fans, huh? Okay, so next thing, I need to be able to slap the stirrups on the side of the saddle like that. Turn around where everybody can see. All right, and he's not bothered by it. Okay. Nothing like that. See, his head did not even come up. All right. Same thing on the other side. It should be the same. Slap, slap, slap. Slap, slap, slap. Okay. Good. Next, I need to simulate my leg. When I'm riding him, well, the first move I'm going to ask him to make when I get on him is I'm going to put my foot back here by the back cinch, leg position 3, and ask him to yield his hindquarters. So I'm going to simulate that with the stirrup right here, bump him, and ask him to step over. And so I've done this a few times, so he understands that. So when I get on him here in a few minutes, he shouldn't have a problem with that. He understands it pretty well. Let's do the same thing on this side. Gonna yield his hindquarters. Not as good on this side, so I'm going to get after him a little bit. Say, move it on over there. There you go. Good, good, good job. Okay, next, I need him to move when I tap him with the stirrup right there, because that's my leg. When I'm riding this horse, I squeeze with my legs. He needs to move off. And I've done this is probably the 3rd or 4th day. At least the 3rd. So he did pretty well with it yesterday. I expect the same here. So I'm going to bump him here, and he walked off. He was kind of walking off anyway. Hopefully he's getting the message. And the other thing is, I want you to notice what I'm doing with this stirrup. I'm going to flop it around. Move. His mommy just walked up and he stopped and looked at her. Come on. I'm going to flop that stirrup around. All right. So again, I'm going to be moving around up here. When I get on him, he needs to be used to this kind of stuff. Let's yield his hindquarters. So he's not as good on this right side, which is typical for most horses. All right, let's go to the other side. I'm going to bump him here. And that time he understood. When I bumped him, I saw a recognition in his mind that means move, and he walked right off. Very nice, Chico. Now let's see. Let me get this rein up out of the way. Let's see if I can get him to trot. Good. Very nice. Very nice. And see, I'm flopping that stirrup. Let's move his hindquarters. Very nice. Good job. Good job. Okay. So, you know, to me, if you can do all of this, I've got a couple more things here. If you can do all of this, your horse is probably ready to ride. If he can handle all of this, the next one is, can he flex to the bit pretty easily, pretty nicely? And he moved instead of flexing because he's wanting to be over there instead of over here. Okay, let me wait till I get his attention. There we go, got his attention back. Okay, can he just flex? And I'll get on the other side so you can see what I'm doing. He'll probably turn around. I want this to be pretty light. Okay, I want to be able to pull there and get that. I don't want to have to, if I have to crank him around, then he's not flexing. You know, when he gets nervous, he won't give it to me. So he's got to be pretty easy on both sides, and I'll do the same thing when I'm sitting on his back. In fact, I already have at earlier days. Okay, and then the last thing on my list, well, I've got two more, sorry. I got two more, is this one. Can I flap my hat all around him and he doesn't get upset? Okay, good. He's a pretty nice boy. The last thing is, will he stand quietly when I get on him? Now this is not riding him, okay? Sitting is not riding. And I'm gonna, before I get on him, he really wants to come over here and say hi to his mommy. So I'm gonna let him do that.
Hi, buddy.
Instead of just getting in a fight with him over it. Come on over. Buddy. Say hi to everybody. Come on, Susie.
I didn't really come in camera.
Oh.
Hi, buddy.
Okay.
You miss me? Remember me?
Of course. Nobody's giving him cookies.
I don't give him
You give him cookies?
I don't give him cookies.
Would you give him cookies?
I just talk to him every day for the two.
Well, I do talk to him.
First 2 years.
Okay. He's done. He walked away. Okay. Come here, Chico. Okay, so we gave him a 2-minute break to investigate everything there. So the last thing on my list is number 20 of skills my horse needs to have before I ride him, is he needs to just stand quietly when I mount him. And I've been on his back last 3 or 4 days, I guess. So he's done this. Hold on, I gotta get my cinch up. He's done this several times without any issue, and I expect it to be the same. And at this early stage, I'll still tip their nose into the direction or the side that I'm getting on. Okay. So what's interesting was when I got on, his attention went somewhere else. That really doesn't bother me too much, because if he were bothered by me, his attention would be fully on me. Okay. Now you see what my foot's doing? It amazes me how people will have a horse that they say is broke, and then if you touch him back here with your foot, that horse will jump and get bothered. Okay, so that was really nice. Get on him. I'm not riding this horse yet, or I haven't. I have done all of this before. Okay, there, good. Flex him the other way. Good. All right. Okay. And see where his mind is? His head's down, his ears are out to the side, he looks like a half-asleep mule. That's exactly what I want. That's a horse that's ready to ride. He's ready.